So I took two of the most powerful AI models and I asked it to let me know what the signs of fascism would look like in America. More specifically, if a future president were to, take us in that direction, what it would look like. And I asked the question in a way to keep this as objective as possible. I didn't mention Trump or political parties. I kept it very vague. I just wanted it to focus on, based on historical context, what it would look like, in the United States. So here's what I asked. What would America becoming a fascist country look like in the first 100 days after the president that takes us there looks like? Assume the new president has the House and Senate control with a slim majority. Also take into account attempts to obfuscate his true intentions, which is something that bad faith actors will not acknowledge. They'll pretend as if, it's going to be like a cartoonish takeover type of thing. He gets in office and then he starts killing people, and it's just like, come on, guys. There's going to be some kind of level of strategy to conceal your true intentions, right? It's not, you're not going to be able to just, I shouldn't say you're not going to be able to, but that's probably not the way it's going to work. It's going to have to be a level of smoothness, some level of smoothness to pull it off. But anyway, list the top 10 actions and executive orders that the president would take that would be a red flag of incoming fascism in America. So what I did is I asked the same question to the two top AI models, and then I took the results from both and I had the AI merge the two to give us the best of the best in terms of things to look out for. So this is the end result. Emergency powers. National emergency declaration over quote-unquote domestic threats. Suspension of constitutional protections. I think the attempt to take away birthright citizenship that Trump is currently doing is exactly that. Centralization of agency control under executive. I think him putting in a bunch of DEI hires for his cabinet is a representation of that, because there are more qualified Republicans that he could put into these positions. It's clear that the people he's picking are the ones that are most loyal as opposed to the ones that are most qualified. So by putting these highly loyal people at the tops of all of these agencies, that is centralization of agency control under executive, right? He's going to be able to control the FBI and all of these agencies unlike any other president has ever been able to do, because they don't normally just come in and fire everyone. But of course, they're also presenting a situation where if by some miracle a Democrat wins in 2028, and most of them actually survive that long, the right thing to do would be to fire them. But that will be a little bit different than what Trump is doing, because Trump is even firing his own people that he appointed, right? So it's a little bit more than, it's not like he's just like getting rid of like Biden people or Democrats. He's even getting rid of his own people, right? Justice system capture, removal of independence in terms of the DOJ and FBI. So the same thing with what he's doing with his cabinet and the FBI. Political prosecutions of opposition figures. There's definitely a huge appetite for that. The guy that he put at the top of the DOJ has an literal enemies list. He would love to go after political opponents. Unfortunately for them, Biden pardoned a bunch of these people that they'd love to go after and do their show trials and whatever. Well, they might be show trials, or they might actually be some Russia-type trials that result in some serious convictions based on lies, but we'll have to see what happens. Political prosecutions of opposition figures, executive orders limiting judicial review powers. I don't know about that one, comment below. Military law enforcement control, purging disloyal leadership. We're definitely hearing about him doing a purge for sure and asking questions in terms of like loyalty type questions. So that's definitely happening. Federalizing state forces, expanding domestic surveillance. I believe, comment below if I'm not mistaken, there was something that was pro-surveillance of Americans, and I think it was supported by Tulsi Gabbard, if I'm not mistaken. Comment below if you know what I'm talking about. There's something about surveillance on Americans that I think Tulsi was like, thumbs up or something. Media suppression, revoking press credentials and licenses. There's absolutely been an appetite from that from Donald Trump. Let's see how far that goes. Installing, well, it's interesting because the way he's working, the way he's like intimidating everyone, he's making so that he doesn't have to actually take anyone's credentials away, because the media is basically bending the knee to him. He doesn't want to do anything to them. He just wants them to leave him alone so he can do whatever the hell he wants to do, which is not good for the country. So as long as they play their role and just leave him alone or just don't mess with him too much, then this would be unnecessary. If they're going to oppose him and create a problem for his agenda, then this would be more necessary. It's about the results, not the methods, right? It's about controlling the press, not about doing it in this particular way. Installing loyalists at regulatory agencies. So he fired a bunch of the, what is it, IGs, I think they're called. So that will be the first step. Replacing them with some loyalists would be the next step. Government anti-disinformation controls. Anti-disinformation controls. I'm not sure about what that would be. Electoral manipulation. This is something I'm definitely expecting for sure. They've been talking about election interference and securing elections. I mean, obviously that's all just nonsense, but they've set themselves up perfectly to be able to actually do what they've been accusing others of doing, and rigging the elections under the guise of like making them more secure. So we'll see what happens with that. Federal takeover of state election systems, targeted voting restrictions, corrupting election oversight bodies. I think some of that's been happening before the election, to be honest. Opposition targeting, criminal investigations of rivals, just like Joe Biden did. Oh, and that was awful, wasn't it? So it'd also be awful if Trump also does it, right? Oh, no, it wouldn't be. It's okay if he does it because they did it first. Are we in elementary school? Anyway, asset seizures from opponents. That's serious. I haven't heard anything about that, but that would be serious. Asset seizures from opponents. Okay. Surveillance of opposition groups. Wow. That's right. He's got control of the FBI. They could make up some story that they believe AOC is colluding with some terrorist group, and they could spy on her all they want, and if it is exposed, as usual, they can easily hand wave it away, because the right-wing movement, they don't want to believe the truth about what's happening, right? That's uncomfortable. So all you got to do is give them just a little bit of a sort of a what's the word? Little treats, right? So if they go and they do some illegal surveillance on AOC, it'll be very easy for right-wing media to just say, well, that's what they did to Trump. They were illegally spying on him, right? How come you care about it now? So they'll completely sidestep the conversation about what Trump is doing and whether it's bad or not by changing the topic to what was done to Trump. And this will work. The right-wing base will eat it up. They will completely abandon any conversation about Trump illegally spying on Americans, because it's more comfortable to have a conversation about what was done to Trump. Legislative control, limiting congressional oversight. That's definitely something he's doing now. Fast-tracking executive authority bills. I'm not sure what they mean by that exactly, but sounds about right. Weakening checks and balances. That's the firing of the IGs for sure, and other things he's doing. Economic weaponization. Selective corporate enforcement. So all these billionaires that are bending the knee to him, what happens to the corporations that don't bend the knee? We'll see about that. Donor intimidation. Not sure what that means. Steering contracts to allies. So, for example, Elon Musk, right? Elon Musk has these defense contracts, and he's definitely bending the knee. I don't know if bending the knee is the correct thing to say about him, but he's definitely on the MAGA team. So let's see how much contracts he gets, how many government contracts he gets. And let's see what happens with Facebook and all these other people that are joining the club, the regime. Information control, education, content restrictions. I think we've seen that already, that especially in Florida. Internet, social media regulations. Okay, we'll see. That sounds like a big government move, not a Republican thing. But remember, the AI, I didn't give this in the context of Republicans or Trump, so it's not taking into consideration ideology or any particular politics. So this would clash with what Republicans claim, but again, it's not taking that into consideration. This is just generic. Government propaganda expansion. So Trump putting in his propaganda person in charge of, what's that broadcast network that the government owns? Comment below. I forgot the name of it. Final, civil service capture, loyalty requirements, mass bureaucratic purges, except for the unelected bureaucrats like Elon Musk that have an office in our government and access to the president. Centralizing hiring control. Okay, keep an eye out for that. So anyway, this is quite interesting to say the least. Comment below and let me know which one of these things do you think is happening already, or has Trump or his allies talked about doing in the future. Just mention the number, say number 2, and then tell me why you think that's true. Give me some sources, give me some times, dates, names, something I can look into to see if what you're saying is true or you just Trump derangement syndrome. Anyway, this is the Debate Me channel. Debate Me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well.